What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to talk about editing photos in black and white in the Lightroom app on our phones. Let's get to it. I'm going to jump right into this photo right here. We're going to start with the color tab here along the bottom, so let's find that. There it is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that guy. And I'm going to go ahead and just click right here on this black and white button right there to go ahead and turn that into black and white. And I want to click on this mix button right here in the top right hand corner, because this is where we can really start to get creative with our black and whites. You guys, in my opinion, every good black and white should have part of the photo that's really bright, part of the photo that's really dark, and then nice even tones in between. So we're going to click on mix. Rather than try to figure out which blue to use, because there's a few of them, I'm going to click on this little joystick dude right there and click on that guy. And then I'm just going to click my finger on the sky and drag to the left, and that's going to darken. You can see how that darkens down the sky. Be careful, don't overdo it, right? That's going to look too extreme right there. But we want to get a little bit more contrast, make that sky a little bit more intense, a little bit darker. So I'm going to drag that over to the left like that. I like the looks of that. And there's not really any other color in this photo. Everything's either white or gray or blue. All the shadows typically have some blue in them. So you can see if I tap on this shadow right here, that's also blue, which is only going to make the sky even darker. So I'm actually not going to try to adjust the shadows here. So I'm going to click on this little blue joystick to tell Lightroom that I'm done with that. And then I'll click on done right there. Now let's go back over to the light tab, click on light. And now we can start adjusting the overall tone and feel of our photo. So again, we want part of our photo to be really bright, but not too bright, and part of our photo to be really dark, but not too dark. So for me, the bright part of the photo is going to be these highlights over here on the right-hand side and then on the front of the building as well. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm changing the exposure here, is getting those highlights nice and bright right there. And then, I don't know, sometimes I like a really contrasty black and white, and sometimes I like a lower contrast black and white. In this one, I think I like the contrast of the higher contrast. So I'm going to crank that up. And then again, I'm just going to keep playing with these. No right or wrong answer. Just do what I always do and just go back and forth until you see something you like, and then start making smaller and smaller adjustments. I'm not going to make the whites much brighter there, but I am going to bring the blacks down. So for me, the dark part of the photo is going to be these windows up here in that part of this image, and then right underneath there, I also want that to be nice and dark. So that's where I'm going to get the dark parts in my photo. So that looks pretty good right there, guys. Let's try a couple of other things. I want to come over to the effects tab. Here's one we have not played around with yet. I want to show you my favorite effect, which is a vignette. I think every photo needs a little bit of vignetting. You have to be really careful of a couple of things. One, don't overdo a vignette. A vignette should be subtle, but not like reach out and punch you in the face, obvious, right? That's too much. Like, you should be able to see a vignette, but not know that it's there. Like, it should be there, but not like obvious that it's there. Does that make sense? I rarely ever drag this vignette slider to the right. I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I'm always dragging it to the left and adding a little bit of a darker border. And what that does is it kind of helps draw the viewer's eye into the photo. So that's what vignette does. You can see you can play around with how close or far away the vignette is to the center with the midpoint. You can change the roundness of the vignette. In fact, let me make this super obvious so you can see what roundness does. There you go. I actually kind of sometimes like that a little bit right there. And then I'll bring that midpoint in, and then I'll bring the intensity back down just a little bit, because that's a little much. And then one other thing I like to do under here with the effects, especially on a black and white, but I'll often do this on a color image as well, is add just a little bit of clarity. Now be careful, clarity is one of those things that new Lightroom users are like, whoa, that's pretty cool, and they way overdo it. So don't do too much clarity here. So what I like to do is I like to bring it all the way up to plus 100, which is obviously way too much. And then I just start slowly bringing it back until things look pretty reasonable. And I like the looks of that. It's maybe still a little bit much. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit, make that look a little bit better. And look at this nice black and white, guys. Here's my before, and here's my after. I like this image way better in black and white than I did in color, and I think that looks really, really cool. So there you go. That's black and white editing in Lightroom on your phone.